My friends, visitors to the cathedral in Cologne, Germany, can walk behind the main altar, and there they'll see a large gold relic case, a reliquary, and the reliquary there contains the skulls of the three wise men. We think there were three wise men, at least this is our tradition, because the gospel doesn't mention a number, but we assume that it's three because of the number of gifts that they've given. And archaeologists have gone into the reliquary over the centuries and have taken a look at the bones and tell us that they're the bones of a young man, a middle-aged man, and an older gentleman. Well, why Germany, you might ask? Because as we know, the wise men started out in the east, in Persia, in India perhaps, and made their way to Jerusalem. Well, a little bit of history. The bones of the three wise men, at least held by tradition, were brought by St. Helena to Constantinople in the 2nd century, 3rd century, and then they were entrusted by the Emperor Constantine to the Bishop of Milan, who then moved them to Milan in Italy. And then through a number of conquests, they were considered treasures and moved to the center of the Holy Roman Empire in Cologne at the time. And so they ended up in Cologne after all those years. And so we come to realize that, you know, those poor magi, even during their lifetime, traveled a long distance to see the newborn king, and even at death, traveled a long distance as well. But that's history. You know, for us today, the important journey that those magi made was an internal journey, an interior journey, a journey of a young man to an old man, a journey from complexity to simplicity, a journey of the heart from the very complex, again, to the very simple. And this was borne out even in the arrival of the Magi in Jerusalem, when instead of looking for the child in a simple place, they went immediately to the temple and to the palace of Herod the king, thinking that the king would be found in a royal palace, the new king. And in fact, once they re-emerged and re-engaged with the star led them to a completely different place, a much simpler place, a humble home where they found the King of the universe as a child with his mother Mary. And so their journey was quite different. We don't have to travel quite that far to have our own epiphany, because this was the first epiphany, the revelation of the fact that the King of the universe had made his way onto earth and had become one of us. This was the revelation to the Magi. But we have our little epiphanies every single day. And what is an epiphany, after all, but nothing more than an intuition that this is reality, and it's always revealed to us by something that is very simple and very striking. Certainly, the finding of the maker of the universe in a child was simple and striking to the kings. And we have simple and striking things that happen to us every day that are our epiphanies. An example, Ardise got together with us over Christmas, and she was telling us a little story about her husband. Many, many years ago, they met. She and her husband met at the University of Wisconsin. She was studying nutrition, and he was in medical school. He went on and did a residency in California at Stanford, and is now a well-practiced oncologist. But they went back to Illinois, and they settled and began to practice near a community that was populated mostly by Italians. And you have to understand that his last name is Mardini, and he always goes by the first initial, so he's Dr. N. Mardini. And he kind of gets a chuckle out of the fact that many of the people in the Italian community think that, this is a great Italian, he'll understand me. He's probably Catholic, so I can identify with him really easily. Until they walk into his office and find out that his first name is Namir, and he's a Syrian refugee, and a member of the local mosque, and a pillar of the mosque. But nobody ever leaves, because they're captured by his very down-to-earth humanity, his humility, and his ability to just be empathetic with their plight as victims of cancer. Within 5 minutes, they're always his oldest best friends, and they never leave him until they're cured of their disease. This is Epiphany, the healing power of God found in an unexpected place, in a place that has nothing to do with ethnicity, but has to do with how we treat each other. Now, all of us are familiar, I'm sure, with the Mazda commercial, right? Where you see the young couple coming out of the hospital with their little baby, and they get into their new SUV. The narrative is, 36 hours ago, you were just Jeff and Susan, but now you're mom and dad. And you've read all the baby manuals, you've baby-proofed the house, you bought yourself a brand new good SUV, you're ready for this. And they're probably thinking, my gosh, we're barely more than kids ourselves, how could we be responsible for a human life? And the baby starts crying. And we see the smile, the lack of smile, and then the final smile on the young man as he's driving away. And we realize this is Epiphany too. This is the revelation of God's creative power in the love of a young couple, and the revelation of God's helping power in their love and this little baby that they're bringing home. These are the epiphanies that we have each and every day, that we have access to. Like the Magi, we have these epiphanies. And again, they're nothing more than the revelation of potential, the revelation of ability, the revelation of goodness in the world. They are markers of God's presence among us. Emmanuel, God has come to us. Let us look for those markers. Let us look for those epiphanies each and every day as we move into this new year that God has given us as a gift, because we must treasure each one of these epiphanies.